seconds pass was just a line I lifted from one of my old friend's poems. He would write poetry and made these little handmade zines, and one of them was called "The Seconds Pass Like Hands Through Glass." And I always liked that first line in that poem, "The seconds pass." Something I'd always think of when you kind of recognize time passing, those moments when you kind of daze off and you think, tick tock, time's just passing kind of thing. Like I would always just think of that, like that line would come to my head. So I thought it was a good name for the show. A big majority of the work is from Southern California, of course. I live in Orange County and I drive to LA all the time, so I'm constantly on the 405 and driving through LA, and that's like probably the major source of the work. This also represents only less than half of what I did. I actually made double this amount of work because I have two shows simultaneously. One is in Belgium right now and then one here. And so this is only half, and then on top of that, my archive isn't that well documented yet, so there's a huge bunch that I wasn't even able to find really or dig through. So it's like so much. For this series, I specifically chose these ones with the criteria that it's from a car, mostly moving. I mean, there's a few where the car was stopped, but you know, I would say that 95% of them are from a completely moving car. Really just an exploration of an idea. Yeah, we can just go down the line. I mean, some of them are interesting and some of them are not. This one, the sky was, somehow it was light where I was in the car, but the future sky was completely black, super weird black. This lady was maybe a little crazy. I mean, skateboarding and photography go hand in hand too. They always have. I mean, as a skater, that's how I learned photography. Was, you know, as a kid, was being a skater, and these guys from the skateboard magazines would come and shoot me. I would learn about. I'd just be interested in their equipment, like how does this work? And I remember learning f-stops and how to like work a camera from these skate photographers. I don't really shoot skateboarding itself as much as I shoot just my life inside of that sport, that activity, that subculture, whatever it is. This is an example of like a skateboard tour. This is a skateboard photographer and a famous pro skater, Eric Ellington. This is also from a tour van. You can see the rocket and the Cornetto on the dashboard. It's just kind of like a typical group of guys driving around. Some of it just tells the story of LA. Obviously, that's just like a typical LA scene that everybody sees. But then I combine these two because both their hands are up at their face. I just thought they like basically in the same exact pose. So aside from Los Angeles, we have in Paris and in Barcelona, Spain, St. Petersburg and Moscow in Russia, Chile and Argentina. I went to Buenos Aires and Santiago in Chile. I drive up the coast of California to Vancouver. Lots of cross-country drives too, so I don't know if it's as much cities, but just, you know, Midwest and Kansas and Texas and kind of worldwide. I think there might even be some Australia photos in here, Melbourne and Sydney. Here's one of those bus benches in Europe, in Russia. You can see the Citibank sign in Russian. That lady kind of saw me and made a weird face. This is in Russia. This is a guy cruising around without a shirt. It's kind of funny. This is a very typical scene. This is actually the street I live on. There's always these people cruising around in rascal scooters. This is a road that looks like soft serve in Chile, going over the Andes Mountains. I felt like I was going to die in this bus. It just ripped around these corners like nothing. Normally I show work in a huge cluster on the wall, and it probably came mostly from having so much work. I think with photography and the way I paint is relatively quick, so in time I end up amassing a huge amount of work, and when someone says, here's a gallery, do what you want, I can't help myself, and I want to put everything up, and so that cluster style is sort of the answer to how do you fit a ton of work into a space. This is the kind of stuff that happens just by accident. I mean, these girls are waving these flags, and she's got a shirt that says identity on it. I mean, she doesn't really realize that she's symbolic in some way. That's another Russian situation. This older woman who is wearing a Nirvana shirt. This guy we drove by, and looks like he was down on his luck. He's got a SoCal tattoo on his arm. I like the idea of being kind of covered and surrounded by the artwork. Some of them are boring in a way. It's like just normal passing, everybody drives by and you just see something that looks kind of cool, but it doesn't occupy even like a millisecond of your thought process. You just see it, you think it's cool, and then it passes by, and that's... Other times something interesting is happening outside of the car, or it's like there's a weird looking dude or a funny looking guy wearing a shirt, or some work as individual photos on their own, others kind of work in the context of the series. Yeah, a lot of them have color on them. Sometimes, I don't know why, for fun, or if I think it needs it. I'll get the whole thing. For these ones, I actually taped them together first, and then I would take them back in the darkroom and soak them in water, and then put color in there and just kind of like try to mess it up a little bit. Sometimes they felt too clean or too like processed, and I wanted to mess them up a little bit, give them a little more worked over look. I'm doing a book of this work too, called The Seconds Pass, and this is the cover of the book. I like the look on the girl's face. I think this one notices me shooting the photo. This is in a bus in London. I was out in like East London and taking a bus back to Central London, and that's kind of like the epitome of what I like, this weird interaction.